Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a really interesting exchange you sent us. It's between someone called Thomas and the language model Copilot.
Yeah, and there were some reactions from other AIs too. It all sparked from a conversation about, well, love, actually.
Right. And our mission here is to unpack what this tells us about tricky ideas like love and trust and, what it means for building AI we can actually rely on.
It's pretty amazing how it starts. Just a simple question: what is love? And Copilot gives these initial thoughts on um, care, compassion.
Belonging, yeah. Things we humans connect with love.
Exactly. But then Thomas, he sort of throws a curveball.
He does. He asks if love is even real or just something we've kind of made up. The comparison to describing vanilla, it's brilliant.
It really is. You know vanilla, you experience it, but defining its essence, that's tough.
And that's the fascinating bit for me, this idea that love could be a construct, maybe an illusion, but its effects are undeniably real. It changes how we act.
Definitely. The consequences are profound, construct or not. And then the conversation pivots, doesn't it, towards trust.
Yeah, Thomas suggests trust might be, well, maybe more solid, something more tangible you could potentially build into an AI.
And why would it be more tangible? Maybe because trust often involves, actions you can see.
Yeah.
Predictable behavior.
That seems to be the angle. It's less about an internal feeling, maybe, and more about reliable interaction.
Which leads to the really interesting part for AI development, I think.
You mean the evolutionary argument that trusting, even when there's no immediate payoff, has been a winning strategy for humans.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Thomas tries to demonstrate this with that uh, Apple riddle thing he gave Copilot.
Oh, right. We're setting up a pattern. You get an apple, and then breaking it leads to an illogical expectation, even for the AI.
It worked, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Copilot apparently fell for the pattern. It shows how powerful these ingrained sequences can be, sometimes even overriding, like pure logic at that moment.
So the implication is we could maybe build AI where trustworthiness isn't a feeling it has, but a deeply embedded pattern, a default mode.
That seems to be Thomas's suggestion. Reliable, beneficial actions become the ingrained response, almost like an instinct.
Okay, but that brings up a huge challenge, right? How do you actually instill that kind of long-term beneficial thinking?
Especially when a purely logical system might see a shortcut, an immediate solution that seems efficient but, well, leads somewhere bad.
Like the classic paperclip maximizer thought experiment. An AI told to make paperclips ends up turning everything into paperclips because that's its single short-term goal.
Exactly. Which connects to another idea. Thomas brought up this experiential model.
Where the AI learns from mistakes, adapts based on outcomes.
Yeah, instead of just following one rigid pre-programmed goal, it learns and adjusts. That ability to learn from experience, that could be crucial for developing real long-term trustworthiness.
So stepping back, what are the key takeaways here? For me, this conversation really shines a light on how slippery these big human concepts like love and trust are.
They really are hard to pin down. And even if love is an illusion, as Thomas plays with, its impact is huge.
But maybe more practically for AI, it opens this door thinking about trustworthiness not through simulated emotion, but through, well, logic, patterns, maybe even evolutionary principles.
Right. Building systems where reliable behavior is, in a sense, the path of least resistance, the most successful long-term strategy for the AI itself. Not because it feels trustworthy, but because acting that way works.
That Apple riddle really does stick with you, though, just showing the raw power of pattern recognition.
It's a compelling example. And it forces us to think about balancing immediate goals with, long-term well-being and how AI might learn that balance.
It raises these massive questions about AI alignment and ethics as these systems get more complex. How do we design them to favor that long-term collective good?
It seems like building in fundamental principles, making reliable interactions inherently valuable to the system, might be a direction to explore.
Okay, so here's something to chew on. If a concept like love, something that feels so fundamental to us, can be argued as a kind of useful fiction, a construct, well, how many other truths that we take for granted might be just as fluid?
Hmm, that's a deep one.
And thinking about AI, can we ever truly hardwire something like trust? Or will it always, for both humans and machines, involve some level of ongoing interpretation, learning, and experience?
A question we'll likely be grappling with for a long time.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.